Welcome to the Burnham Memorial Library in Colchester, Vermont. This library is a little slice of heaven preserved in this small town. Let's take a look inside.
Hello, I'm Marty Reed, the director of the Burnham Library, and I'm happy to talk to you about the library, a little bit about the history of the library and what we do here at Burnham Library. The library actually started here in Colchester in the year 1900. It wasn't the Burnham Library then. It started just in a room nearby the location where we are now, and it was started by the King's Daughters Women's Club, and they started a little lending library, and over the years it moved from room to room. It really wasn't a public building until 1940 when they broke ground for the original building of the Burnham Library, and that came about with money that came from the will of Mrs. Etta Burnham, who left money to build the first public library in town. And we're sitting now in what's called the Burnham Reading Room, and this room was the original library, and many people that walk through the door say, "Oh, I remember when I came as a kid, this was the library, this was it." It's a lovely room with wood paneling. We have a fireplace that has a gas fire in the winter. It's a really pleasant place to sit and read. It's a quiet space. And then in 1989, the town realized that they needed a bigger library, so they put on an addition to the library that quadrupled the size of the library. And in that part of the library is where the main circulation desk is, the fiction collection, the nonfiction for adults, their staff offices, and then in the basement level is our wonderful children's department, and there's also a room for teens. So it's grown over the years. We're finding now that we're running out of space yet again, but the building has served us really well since it was built in 1940.
The Burnham Memorial Library is more than just books, although those are plenty in supply. It contains over 55,000 items, including a large supply of DVDs, VHS, music CDs, and every kind of book on tape. There are also magazines and newspapers available. The library also has 13 computers for public use. People are able to use them for homework and researching, as well as simply browsing the internet.
I'm Hannah Peacock, and I'm the children's librarian here at the Burnham Memorial. I've been working here since, 4 years now, and so I sort of run the department. I have 3 other people who work downstairs with me. So my main responsibilities is sort of making sure everything gets done. I help with story times, I help with all programs, I order all the books and movies and DVDs for the library. I make sure everyone's doing what they're supposed to do, which isn't a problem because we have great people who work downstairs. And I go out and do programs for kids of all ages. We're generally a pretty busy children's department. We have, I think we have more than half the books in the library. That's probably changing because we're trying to get more adult books. Our biggest section, our most popular section is probably the picture books because we have more of them than anything else, and parents come to story times 3 or 4 times a week. Different parents, different kids, obviously, and those books go out the most. Some parents come and take out, 30, 40 books, so that's our biggest seller. Downstairs we have books for children and young adults of all ages. So if you're, a new reader, newly involved with books, we have, the easy reader books. But if you're not reading yet, we have picture books and board books. We have nonfiction books for kids of all ages. We have movies, DVDs, books on tape, all the same stuff we have upstairs, but just for younger people. We actually have a separate young adult room, which is sort of books for more advanced readers, usually more mature subject matters, longer books, more advanced books for, I would say, 12-year-olds and up. So we have an actual separate room for young adults, which we'd like to beef up a lot. We have lots of great books, but it's not the most welcoming room, and we'd like to sort of make it more teen-friendly. So if any teens out there have any ideas, let me know.
Hello, I'm Giselle Gayette. I also am a member of the children's staff here at the Burnham Library. Now, up until August, I used to be the bookmobile librarian. And that meant that we drove all around Colchester from the Essex end to the Winooski end to the Milton end. And we brought books and programming to not only neighborhoods, but preschools and daycares and some senior centers. Since that program has kind of ended for now, we might be revisiting that in a little while, but for now that the main program has ended, now I've joined the children's staff and we're looking to do more for young adults, which would be this audience.
My name's Ginger. I've worked here just since July, so I'm probably one of the newer members of the library. Libraries are in an interesting place right now because many communities are changing and don't have kind of the center of the community the way we might have thought of it being in the early 1800s or something. You have a center square and all the community happens around it. And so a lot of communities, I think, are thirsting to find what is the center of the community. And so one way that this library helps to serve that function is to have programs and ways for people to come together and classes and workshops and Christmas tree lightings and parties and those sorts of things. And so in a way it sort of functions as a place for the community to come in together.